I am going to be Sasha's third wife, and this is his third child with another woman.
Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. 90 Day Fiancé, the most famous TLC series, recently completed its 7th season and continues to be one of the most watched series on the channel, having spawned 6 spin-offs to date. But while most couples go through great lengths to make their relationship work on the show, to settle down, or to tie the knot, still, there have been a few so-called soulmates on the show who just didn't seem to be meant for each other. So in today's video, we will be looking at the most ridiculously insane 90 Day Fiancé couples. Let's roll! Emily and Sasha. Let's jump right into the video with a very recent couple of the season 7. I mean to say, Emily and Sasha. Sasha was the one who was working as a teacher in vulgar, odd Russia, and Emily joined the gym to meet some new people. During this phase of meeting new folks, she ended up dating her personal trainer. Well, the tension between Sasha and Emily's sister Betsy made these two a rather cringe-worthy couple to watch. Betsy was actually a little bit worried when she learned that Sasha already had 2 children with 2 ex-wives back in Russia. Betsy's actual concern was a little suspicious, as she thought that Sasha apparently gets women pregnant before he marries them. She's actually seeing it as a pattern of him, and let me add that she wasn't alone with her concern. When Sasha's first wife and Emily met back in Russia, she also voiced her similar concerns. But still, the two ended up getting married, despite Betsy continuously throwing shade at Sasha. She even commented on how Emily's dress might be the right one, but perhaps her groom was not during the wedding dress shopping. Paul and Karine. One of the most awkward couples to ever appear on the show was surely Paul and Karine. Actually, not only did they have a very tough time communicating with each other just because they didn't know how to speak the same language, but not just this made things weird, because Paul himself also displayed some pretty bizarre behavior. His lack of understanding of Karine's culture made things even worse, and he straight up refused to learn Portuguese. He often acted as a controlling partner and mistrusted Karine while not being upfront about his own criminal past himself. What a hypocrisy! From Paul's preparation for the journey to Brazil to his weird swimming condom and the awkward marriage proposal, everything related to these two people was totally cringeworthy. Yet Paul and Karine went against all the odds and ultimately made this relationship work by becoming parents of a baby boy named Pierre in March 2019. Mark and Nikki. Among numerous couples with fairly big age gaps, Mark and Nikki certainly took the cake, as Mark is 58 years old and Nikki, on the other hand, is 19. Both of them had met on an online dating site, and it didn't take long for them to fall in love since they started talking. Nikki moved from the Philippines to the US to live with Mark, and eventually married him. Let me tell you that their age gap was not the biggest problem, because the actual threat to their happily ever after was Mark himself. Actually, he was a totally controlling person and even made Nikki sign a very one-sided prenuptial agreement. In fact, he also bought her the same car he had bought for his first wife. Not just that, he even wanted her to wear his own daughter's old dress, which was totally disgusting, even for his own daughter as well. Not just most of the viewers, in fact, Mark's family and friends were pretty shocked to learn that Mark wanted to marry a 39-year-old girl who was even younger than his 4 children. Due to the lawsuit filed against TLC, they haven't appeared on any 90 Day Fiancé spin-offs. Well, to your surprise, this couple is still married, but they are keeping a low profile and are not on social media platforms. Ashley and Jay. It seems if this couple would have been better off if they just had a fling instead of getting married so quickly. Actually, they first met and instantly fell in love while Ashley was in Jamaica for a friend's wedding and stayed in touch after she left. Jay popped the question when she came back to Jamaica 6 months later, and despite having some doubts and all the warnings her friends gave her related to Jay, Ashley still married him in Las Vegas in April 2009. Ashley, however, caught her husband Jay using a dating app just 3 days after their marriage. Due to that, there was generally a lot of drama in their marriage. Not just that, Jay reportedly cheated on Ashley at least twice and decided to stay with him, saying that even though calling it quits might be the smarter thing to do if someone cheats on you, but it's not easy to automatically fall out of love. Well, at least she eventually filed for divorce in January 2019, but then changed her mind again. But since things didn't get any better between her and Jay, a couple of weeks later, she filed for divorce again in April, as E! News confirmed through a Pennsylvania court. Colt and Larissa. This couple, Larissa and Colt, fell in love through an online dating site and eventually met up together in real life in Mexico. They spent 5 days together in Mexico before flying to Larissa's hometown, Rio de Janeiro, so they could spend another 6 days together, and at the end, viewers see that Colt finally decided to propose marriage. Then, Larissa decided to move to Las Vegas so they could live with Colt and his mother. But with Larissa, the relationship was already off to a pretty bad start, as she was hating pretty much everything about her new home and was not getting along with Colt's family as well. But still, the two got married within the 90 days, but unfortunately, their marriage lasted only a few months. By the way, the couple managed to have numerous run-ins with the law despite being married for such a short period of time due to their public fighting. Larissa was even charged with misdemeanor domestic battery in early 2019, during those 4 months, just after one such fight with Colt that prompted him to file for divorce, and their legal split was eventually finalized in March. Eric and Lita. Eric and Lita began dating in 2016 after meeting online and became engaged just 2 days after meeting in person for the very first time in Indonesia. In season 6, both of them tied the knot, but their marriage was disturbed from the very beginning. Lita didn't even get along with Eric's teenage daughter, Tasha. Therefore, Eric eventually kicked his daughter out of the house. In fact, Lita even didn't want Eric to still pay child support to his first wife, Tanya, and instead wanted him to get full custody of his stepdaughter, Janessa. Not just that, later it became apparent that Lita had a hard time adjusting in Wisconsin because her wealthy family back in Indonesia had a much more luxurious lifestyle. Then, a request for a restraining order was granted against Eric's daughter Tasha, which created more family melodrama, with Tasha being forbidden from contacting or seeing him. Due to all that, Tasha's relationship with her father was affected as well. In fact, the couple also made the headlines when police were called to cover a domestic incident that happened at their home, which involved Eric wresting a knife away from Lita, so he could prevent her from harming herself. However, at this moment, these two are still married, and it seems like they have a lot of issues to work out if they intend to make this marriage work. Nicole and Azan. From the very day Nicole landed in Morocco, Azan couldn't resist to hide his feelings about Nicole's body and shared on the show that when he saw her body, he was surprised to see that she's a little big. He even admitted sitting next to her that he was attracted to her for just like 55%, and if she didn't try to transform herself, he isn't sure if he would go to the US with her or not. Even though he kept trying to persuade her to go to the gym so she could get in better shape, the problem was that he wasn't exactly sensitive or polite about the way he tried to get her to be more healthy. There was a scene when Nicole struggled climbing a sand dune in the heat in the middle of the desert. He wanted to motivate and push her onwards, but his words were out of beat, as he was calling her lazy and kept telling Nicole that she needed to work out more. Due to all Azan's body-shaming things, Nicole ended up cheating on him while they were living in their respective countries. So it seems like if it weren't for the pressure put on them by 90 Day Fiancé producers, these two would have long broken up. Angela and Michael. This couple was one of those couples on the show who had a big age difference, but they appear to be making it work despite all their differences. Just like others, they met online and eventually fell in love a few months later. So, to meet in person with Michael, Angela flew from the US to Nigeria for the first time. He was so excited about it that she was completely oblivious to the fact that he was pretty disappointed when he first saw her. Due to their age difference to cultural differences, the couple faced a number of challenges. In fact, there was a scene where Michael was seen commenting on Angela's appearance while she mistakenly accused him of stealing from her. By the way, their biggest and main issue was the fact that it was unlikely that they would have a biological child together. Yet the couple eventually, earlier this year, decided to get married and tied the knot in Nigeria. That's all for today, guys, with ridiculously insane 90-Day Fiancé couples. Thank you for watching the video. And if you guys found it interesting, I would much appreciate it if you comment down below about the video and leave a thumbs up. Last but not least, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get updates related to our latest videos.